Peace, everyone, and welcome back to another video. This is a Saya Mystic, and I am your spiritual life coach and soul counselor, here helping you to free your heart and soul. And today, I have another message. So this is going to be a part 2 to the previous full moon in Capricorn video that I did. And there's just more things coming up for me around what wants to be released during this time. And for me personally, what wants to be released. And the theme that is coming up is when we can see how our soul is more powerful than the programming, when we can actually see that in our life, and also how our soul is the gateway to eternal wealth, eternal hierarchy, eternal recognition and respect, and all the things that we kind of associate with Capricorn, this social prestige, um, being recognized socially for who we are, what we do, what we bring to the world, um, and most importantly, establishing a career, establishing a legacy, really, this kind of legacy that benefits society and also communicates our connection to society and the role that we're playing to really keep society uplifted and protected and all these things. And that's what modern day society is supposed to do. And they have their own systems, right, of doing it. We are, however, about to enter into Pluto being in Aquarius instead of Pluto being in Capricorn. And Pluto has been in Capricorn since, I believe, 2012. Pluto has been in Capricorn. And so we've seen, and there's been a lot of things that have come up that has caused us to become extremely aware of how society has not been living up to the higher self of Capricorn's energy. We've seen the darkness and the secrets and the things that need to be destroyed and done away with. And I feel like this full moon in Capricorn that we're experiencing right before we enter into Pluto being in Aquarius in 2023, I feel like we're seeing in this full moon, and as we keep going into the rest of the until we get to the new moon, the things that are coming up. And um what I have noticed and the things that have come up for me during this full moon in Capricorn is really being able to understand that my soul is more powerful than the programming, and how we can get into these phases where, or I have gotten into these phases where I've just tried to keep going along with my life, keep pushing, keep, you know, when things happen, right? When things happen that are very Saturn Saturn related, right? And we go through these blocks we go through these, places in life. We get to these points in life where there's a block, and we cannot move forward until we learn or until we integrate this lesson or things like that. And what has been coming to me is the understanding of how, and different Capricorns in my life that have showed me how you can lie to yourself, how you can lie to yourself and illusion yourself into believing that the thing that's blocking you is something other than what it actually is. So it's like an illusion that a lot of Capricorns that I've met before that they create that keeps them from getting to the soul, right, of the matter. And the illusion that they create keeps the programming that they have up, keeps the system that they have up. And this programming or this system keeps them in a low frequency state where they are never reaching that higher level, that higher being that Capricorn is meant to achieve, that Capricorn is meant to experience. So Capricorn has, just like every other sign, has different evolutions. They have actually three different evolutions. And each sign has different levels of evolutions, but Capricorn, along with Scorpio, has quite a few evolutions. And um, hold on one second, y'all. Mm, this is my favorite flavor, kombucha, the blue one. So Capricorn has these different stages of evolution, and the first stage of evolution is the mountain goat, the goat that goes through life on a very physical level and material level. They understand how to hop from this level, of the mountain to that level of the mountain to this level of the mountain, right? They know and they understand the material world, and they know how to get from point A to point B. And the mountain goat is the first level, right? This is the level that most people know about when they think of Capricorn, is the mountain goat. And this is a symbol that's represented as Capricorn pretty much everywhere, is the mountain goat. But that's the first evolution of Capricorn. Capricorn has two different evolutions after the mountain goat that nobody ever really talks about. But I've seen it. I've seen this actual embodiment in Capricorns that I meet. And when you get to the third evolution of Capricorn, that one is very rare for me. I've like only met one of those evolutions once or twice. But the mountain goat is very physical, is very material, and will come to these places where things in life, hurdles in life happen, and they can't see past what's in front of them. They can't see past um, what's being shown to them, or the material physical level of the world. They can't see past it. And even if they do see past it, they need the material world to explain it, and show it to them, which is not really possible, right? Because these are two different fields that you have to be able to tap into at different levels. So the illusions and the lies that people start to tell themselves when it comes to the programming and um, just life in general, specifically when it comes to your soul's calling towards its wealth, towards its hierarchy and higher being, right? This is where things come up, hurdles come up, and you don't understand that the meaning behind it. You just ignore it and you keep going and you keep kind of pushing, and that's what most people are accustomed to doing. The thing about this is, when you keep pushing through and you keep um trying to get to the next place and the next level, and um focus on all of these goals and tasks without taking a step back and tuning into what the actual truth is here in the matter, then that's where most people start to succumb to the programs and the programming of the world or the matrix. And I've talked about this before on my channel, you guys. In my Lilith is the real ruler of Capricorn video, and I think specifically that video I talked a lot about it. So there's a programming that tells most of us when we're coming into opposition with things, that the opposition is something that we just need to find a way around so that we can get where we're going. When in actuality, and this is where that saying comes in, is the only way out is through, is where you actually need to go through the situation and understand how you are a part of the creation of that situation and what that situation means for your being, for your truth, for this upper echelons, your real self, basically, what this means for your real self. So the opposition that we experience is actually um showing us the road to becoming our true self. And this is why Lilith is the higher or esoteric ruler of Capricorn, because success doesn't come because you just work hard and you grind yourself to the bone, or you sacrifice and you do things that you don't really want to do, and you silence yourself because society, or because everyone else, or even the people closest to you um, don't believe in what you believe in, or don't socially agree with this thing that is rising within you. It's really like the programming is a dousing of the soul. And when your soul is stronger than that dousing, then that, it's really like a suppression, then you recognize the opposition as opportunities for you to move further and deeper into your real and true purpose in life, into your soul, into your wealth, into your real self. So this is like very root chakra esque, because Capricorn is an earth sign, but also Lilith is also very earthy vibration, because she is a vibration that communicates the divine feminine, and this representation of the 13, this 13 divine feminine number. And 1 plus 3 is 4. Okay, so 4 in numerology is the foundation. This is the earth number. And not just the earth number, but it's the number that shows you how to live life in integrity with your soul. So when I was growing up and in my life, I there was so many different moments where I experienced opposition. Okay. Um, there were so many different moments where I experienced opposition. And the opposition and the intensity of the opposition only allowed me to, I mean, at the time it didn't, because I was in it, right? And when you're in it, it's like, either you can become depressed, right? Very Capricornian. When you're in it, you can become depressed, you can become frustrated, you can just really not really be sure why you're even here, still alive. This is where a lot of people start getting into depressions, right? And things like that, because it's like I can't I can't do anything to win, right? It's like everything I do, everything that I attempt is getting shot down, or there's somebody somewhere popping up to really just rip off everything that I work so hard for. And this is, really think about it in relationship to just yourself and your desires, and what you put so much energy, your desires you put so much energy into. So there were moments in my life that was really like that, where when I started to grow a deep love for astrology, when I started to grow a deep love for spirituality, man, during that time, and I've said this before on my channel, that was the time where nobody was into astrology. Nobody was into, yeah, the horoscopes was like out and that was a thing, but nobody was really into astrology. Like, it wasn't a trend, it wasn't a thing. So when I started being really into it, which was like when I was 16 years old, right? I'm 26 now. That was 10 years ago. And I'm about to be 27, so almost 11 years ago. Nobody was into that. Nobody was into that. Um, and so if I even talked about, oh, your sign and astrology, and if I even talked about, seeing, you know, starships in the sky and seeing different things, people were like calling me weird. People were like, oh, she's, um, it was just, it was like not, it was not accepted at all. It was not socially accepted at that time when I was growing up. And I didn't really have anybody to connect with about it. I didn't really have people who respected my mind and what I was sensing. There were so many times people would be like, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, stop always bringing that up. Or, like, when I would mention numerology and how it has the vibration of numbers, and how when I changed my name, I saw a shift in energy. And people would just be like, that is like, you're making shit up. Like, that's not real. Um, those were the things that I experienced at that time. And so now things are different, like way different. And people, those same people, like it's not even different people. Those same people who was talking all that trash be posting memes and talking about the astrology and zodiac sign traits and all of that. They do. They be talking about the sage, how they need to sage their house, and all kinds of stuff. And I don't say anything. I'm just like, these people are interesting. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just a part of the program now. It's not something that ever really connected for them at a soul level. It's just a part of the program. Like, now it's just a part of the program. So because of that, I was able to actually, because of the opposition I was experiencing, I was able to really respect myself and really grow a love for myself in a way that nobody else could love me or appreciate me, and decide to move forward with all of these things that I knew and everything that I really adored about spirituality and astrology and esoterics and all those things. And I moved forward with that. And that's when I really began to become a Saya mystic and move forward in my life and in my journey with, coming on YouTube and, um, connecting with like minds who could appreciate me. But really, that none of that happened until I could really respect myself and love my soul for what my soul had to offer to not just the world, but for my own upliftment and for my own acknowledgement. So that was one of the things, right? And this is how you can really start to see, like, and if I was operating in the mountain goat sense, then I probably would just listen to them and be like, oh, this isn't anything important. I can't really do anything with this. I can't really do anything with this with my life. I should probably just do other stuff, like, that's practical, that makes more sense, that is all the things, right? And that's what, the mountain goat would probably do. Um, but then we move into the second evolution of Capricorn, which is the sea goat. And the sea goat is where Capricorn really starts to understand how important spirituality is. And not only that, but they don't have a choice but to know its importance because of how sensitive um the sea goat becomes. So the sea goat is the, half a goat basically that lives in the sea. It's a mythological creature, but when I try to visualize it, I'm like, okay, it's a goat with a mermaid tail. That's interesting. um, I don't know. So so the sea goat is more sensitive to those things, and that was something in my life that I had to do. Okay, hold on, guys. I need to plug in my laptop. Peace to everybody in my room right now. Hi, Poise and Polish Nail Co. Definitely been struggling to get on one accord, but that's exactly why these shifts are needed. Lily, hi Lily, blessings. I like the swan that you used. So this opposition, I've had so many different levels of opposition. That was just like a little part of it, right? I experienced opposition when I started to get more in touch with the earth and more of my fairy, earth feminine ways, where I started to learn more about herbs, foods, plants, how to do things in an earthly way that will set your energy up to being a certain way, right? Like magic, right? I started learning magic. I started learning about magic, and that wasn't received well, right? About by a lot of the people that I was around. Um, you know, and really just being a sensitive soul, a soul that could feel things at levels that were beyond, again, the programming. And all of those things were just pointing me in the direction of who I am, who I am, who I am. Live in accordance with who you are. Live in accordance with who you are. Live in accordance with who you are. And that is the medicine of Capricorn and this Saturn energy that transmits into the higher self of being embodied in Lilith, because you have to live in accordance with who you are and live by your truth. And the lessons that come up are merely the lessons that are showing you this is who you are. This is how you should live. This is how you should operate. This is, this is you. So even the opposition that I experienced in my relationships, right? And personal relationships with my family, and the most, well, I wouldn't say most recent, but the relationship that I have with my daughter's father. That relationship was like the cherry on top of opposition in relationships, because it was the first time that I really felt like who I was screaming at me to be loved, honored, appreciated, and respected as an authority in my own body. And that experience drove me to see more and more of who I actually am and what I truly desire out of life. So when your soul is stronger, when your soul is more powerful than the programming, you don't succumb in the typical ways that I have seen Capricorn at its detriment succumb, and Capricorn at his highest self. Actually, Capricorn at his highest self doesn't succumb at all. This is where Capricorn's stubbornness actually is in honor and in alignment with the soul and the souls of not just his own selfishness, right? Because Capricorns can be selfish, very selfish. But the souls of all of his people, right? All of his family, all of the beings, and I'm saying his because Capricorn is because he's ruled by Saturn, is more of a masculine sign. But this is the understanding, and what I feel is coming up during this time is how much the soul wants to be in power. The soul wants to be in power. Your soul wants to be in power. Because remember, Capricorn's higher self is Lilith, okay? And Lilith is all about the soul. So I've been feeling the nudge to go forward with creating an esoteric astrology course. I'm going to submit a little poll in the community to see what you guys will be more interested in, but I'm feeling the nudge because when I talk about all these things, I'm like, man, are they following me? Like, have they watched other astrology videos, or are they like, where are you guys at in your understanding of these things? So that when I'm speaking right now, you can really get it, right? You can really get it. Because Lilith is an aspect of the moon, and she represents your truest self, your soul, the truest parts of yourself. So by her being the esoteric ruler of Capricorn, right now we are, and even if you're watching this video in the future, um, to gain true and real power is to allow the soul to be the one in control of, and the one to be in power, and not these false programs. These false programs of, this is how you do this is how you do that. You're supposed to do it like this, and if you don't do it like that, then you cut people off and you treat people like they're less than human, if they don't follow these standards or these social whatever. And it's like, is that really how you feel? Like, is that really your true self speaking, or is that just a program? Right? Release all of these ridiculous programs, even the programs of how I've, talked about earlier is, you know, even when you think that you are, um, or the trend comes out, right, of all of the spiritual things, right? Even that can be a program when you're not experiencing it at a soul level, when it's not something that's actually being channeled to you. And you can, when you go out into your world, you can see, and even start to discover more things without following up on the program or following up on whatever. And this is why, like, a lot of my courses that I've taught in the past in coaching, like, I leave you the opportunity to experience it for yourself, because I cannot, like, words don't teach, right? Like how Abraham Hicks says, words don't teach. Like, words and books and all, like, it doesn't teach. You have to go out and allow yourself to be in unison with the universe so that you can experience the truth of yourself and what it is that you really want. So there have been a lot of times where people have tried to advise me out of my soul. There've been a lot of times where people have tried to practically, talk me out of what my soul already knew. And when your soul is more powerful than the programming, you can confidently let people know that you appreciate their feedback, but you don't need it. You're good. Because all of those people, I'm just thinking back to my past, and all of the people, all of the opposition, all of the friends, who came to me with some kind of a doubt or some kind of a, well, I don't know about that, or maybe even try to use their own history or their own experience to validate me and what I was doing, what I was going through. Um, if it doesn't feel good in your soul, then reject it, because it's like programming. Like, it's like an agent that wants to keep you from being fully you and living in your truth, living in your heart, living in your purpose. So maybe I'll make a video about the higher self, the highest evolution of Capricorn, the third evolution of Capricorn. Um, or I'll do it in a course, I don't know. So I'm going to put a poll out in the community tab to see what would be the most intriguing course to start with. But yeah, it's you've got to allow your soul to be stronger and more powerful than all of the, you know, the things that people will try to tell you, or even yourself, even the lies you might tell to yourself. And until you let go of the lies you tell to yourself, you know, that's the only way you can really let go and move on to the next step, the next phase, the next journey in your life. And I'm realizing that for myself in a lot of different areas. And so that's the journey that I'm also on, right? Because I'm in the same time that you're in, unless you're watching this video in the future. But you know, you can't move on to the next chapter until you close out the chapter at hand. So what is the chapter at hand for you? What is the you know, what is the experience, right? Or the, what's a better word? Like, it's like the part of the story, right? That you can't move on to the next part until you like, it's like in video games, right? Like, you can't get to the next level until you defeat the boss, or whatever the task is. Whatever the task is. So what are the tasks that you know that you have to complete and accomplish that aren't all about the physical stuff and the material stuff, but are actually about your true self, your soul, what you really feel deep down inside, and how you can honor and respect yourself as an authority that deserves to be recognized for who you are and nothing other than that, right? Nothing other than who you are. What's that chapter for you? What does it look like? What do you need to do? Like, what is your checklist of things that you know that in the back of your mind you've been like, I should do this, but you haven't done it because of whatever fears or lies, right? You've been telling yourself, or programming. Um what is it, right? And sometimes those things are really big things. Sometimes those things are really big things. Well, I wouldn't say really big, but like big emotionally. Like, it might be that you finally break off that relationship that you know hasn't been serving you, and you know has been pretty toxic and has ruined your life, but you're still in it because of whatever story and illusion you are telling yourself about this relationship, about what it can give you, right? um and so you sacrifice your heart and your soul by means of receiving some end of something. But really, like, the means, when you don't have the correct means, like, you will never get the correct end. Like, is always a catch to that. There's always a catch when you try to go about it the wrong way and think that you're still going to get the same results. And that's another thing that I see in some Capricorns. They think that they can, like, steal, or um you know not necessarily steal, but like, they think that they can fool somebody, and cheat, basically. Yeah, so it's like a type of cheating. um so what is that for you? What is that for you? And how can you just start marking off those things one by one, so that you can move on to the next chapter, to the next phase, to the next big thing for you. Because that's the key. So moving forward, we'll be in a new moon in Leo. And that is a good new moon, right, to enter into after the full moon in Capricorn. Because as you get rid of all the things that are stopping you from moving on to your next chapter in life in your soul's purpose and calling, you can actually set intentions to receive love and experience fun and play and joy and um you know pleasure, like pleasure in a very happy and light way, in a very sunny and vibrant Leo way, so as you let go of all those Capricorn things, you can move into Leo and activate who you really are. And so I guess we'll just um cross that bridge when we get there. Um so yeah, I am going to hop off now. Thank you for everyone who joined to join this live video and subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And yeah, I will catch you guys in my next video. Peace. Oh, and don't forget to comment any questions that you guys have.